out, right?
Yeah. I work in a really chaotic way. Usually I don't really know where I'm going. And I'm also I work also as an editor in life, so maybe that's why I work a lot with collage of ideas. And I think the first flash of that film was this man coming from the future, but only 6 months from the future. And so there was this scene, and there was also the will to do a film with the brother and sisters anchored in the present, not which is paradoxal with the man coming from the future. But I didn't want too much the story of the brother and sister related to the past, and just see what's the blood relationship between them. I don't know if it's clear. My English is a bit rusty. I just came in this morning, and I'm a little bit jet lagged, but I hope it's clear.
This is your second feature, is that correct? I just wondered what the difference in the process of the filmmaking was between the two. Do you lots of lessons from the first that you could take into this one?
Yeah. The biggest lesson from the first feature was the script writing. Actually, the first film we throw away a lot of scenes, and afterward I was kind of wondering, could I knew that before, you know? And because the main challenge when you're shooting a film is time. Time is always against you. So losing time shooting scenes that you won't use, and at the end is a complete loss of time. And so in this film, there's a couple of scenes that we throw away, but basically everything is there. Just a couple of lines here and there that we cut. But I think the script was more close to the final result, which is not necessarily the goal when you write a script. Like, for me, the script is really a tool that evolves during the whole process, but that's how it worked for this one.
If you were to do the whole thing again, would you do anything differently?
That's a good question. I think that's the first time someone asked me that. I think if I had to do the film again, I would balance it a little bit differently. I think I would spend a little bit less times with the two characters separated and try to spend more time with them together. I think that would be the thing I would try to work.
Two of the real highlights for me were the cinematography and the soundtrack. Were they people you'd worked with before, or is that new people you brought into your team?
Yeah, I'm really. I did my two films with exactly the same team, and so it's kind of a troupe, or I don't know. It's like a band. It's like having a band and evolving together and trying to push our limits a little bit further each time. So, and I will work. I'm working on I hope to shoot another film next summer, and I intend to work with the same people as well.
I think that's about it from me. I said a few, but are there any questions in the audience? I'd like to open it up. Can't be brave. One at the back there. Can you shout?
Yeah, I can. How long did it take to make?
It's 28 days of shooting, which is probably the average in Quebec for shooting a film.
I probably should say at the same time, it was a really good film, really nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And the anecdote behind the film is that I wanted to do a winter film, obviously, and show the rude winter of Quebec, and it was the warmest winter ever since 1940 something. It was awful. We barely could complete the film. Like, if I move the camera sometimes for 1 feet, you can see the grass and everything. It was a nightmare. Yep.
So here's us what your first film was.
The first film was called Continental Film Without Guns. I don't think it ever played in the UK, I'm not sure.
What changed in the way you worked with actors between your first and this one?
Not much, I guess. It's there's a lot of like the weird thing about directing films when you only like I don't do TV series or thing like that. So basically, I practice my job one time every 3-4 years. Which if I would be a plumber, I would be a really bad plumber. You know? So that's the weird thing. So you have to really trust your instinct and go with the flow. And I don't have a particular technique with the like. Well, my main goal is to make sure that before we start the film, everybody knows exactly in what film we are and where we're going. You know. So I always do a lecture with all the actors of the whole film before shooting, 2 weeks before shooting, and they read their lines, of course. And the guy Denis who plays I really insisted for Denis who plays the man from the future to be there, because I said to the other actor, if we understand how to play the meeting between the boy and this guy, well, we understand the whole film. Like, this is the center, like, it's so awkward, and it's so, you know, and I didn't want it to go in the total sci-fi movie and start to talk about how he did it and what's his machine or whatever. It didn't interest me, so that's why he asked him, are you hungry? That's the first question. And so that was, for me, the tone of the movie. So that was the anchor for the rest of it. But most of them are really good actors, so you don't have to say too much.
One of the things I like most about it was that very sort of melancholic sense of humour, which you often also find in a lot of Scandinavian, Norwegian, and Finnish films. Do you think there's something inherent in cold climates that leads to that sort of humour?
I don't know, but I question myself about about that. Maybe. Like you don't see a lot of film coming from a really warm island in the south and you know, Pacific Islands. There's not a lot of films coming from there. You know, they're busy doing other stuff and enjoying themselves on the beach. So I think we've got too much time inside and thinking about whatever.
Any more questions?
What are your biggest influences?
Biggest influences? I don't know. I like good films. I like challenging films. So I don't have any mentors or. I just like good films. Different films.
Did you have any like resistance from anyone on the script before you came to shooting?
Not where you would think. Not on the part you would think I would get challenge or resistance on, you know. The question from the people who found the film were more about the dramatic curve of the characters, but no one never questioned like the man from the future, never, which really surprised me. I really thought that would be the first thing they would be talking about, but no, it was more like where all this story leads us.
So it's a general question about Canadian film.
Yeah.
Sort of 30 years ago, we hardly ever saw Canadian films here, maybe David Cronenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last few years, we've seen the likes of Guy Maddin, Dennis Arcand, Nathan McGoy, and Robert Lepage. Is this of any instance in Canadian film, or is it just that we're beginning to see them for the first time?
There is certainly a new wave going on right now. I don't like that term, but I don't have a better one. There is really something happening. A lot of directors of my age trying and believing in festivals and believing in the international potential of their film. I think there was a period in Quebec and Canadian cinema where we stopped believing that our film could be seen, especially in Quebec because of the language maybe, I feel that we kind of stopped believing that our film could be seen outside of the borders. And there's a new generation coming that really believes in that. So I think that change, and that are really influenced by international cinema. So and also as the Quebec film history. So I don't know. I think it's a mix-up of all this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a real strength of Canadian cinema at the moment is that, you know, despite your border being with the United States, films do seem to have this diverse range of it. I think even like a genre filmmaker like Vincenzo Natali's films are very sort of uniquely his. I think. Do you think that's something to do with like a Canadian identity, or is it just these individual filmmakers?
I don't know. I think it's there's obviously similarities in certain film that I can see right now. Like there was a couple of years where we didn't really see films shot in winter, and so that's why also I wanted to shoot winter, because I thought we lost. You know, in the '60s there was a lot of film taking place in the winter, so I wanted to bring that back. Maybe that's where the nostalgia come from, that you a little bit that you felt in the film. Anyway, and coincidence, 3 directors shot film in the winter exactly at the same time. Like so we were all like, oh man, it's always like that when you work on a script. It's you get paranoid and you feel that everybody's doing exactly the same thing at the same time.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much for coming. And